It began right here in Birmingham with an idea that November 11th, Armistice Day, be changed to celebrate all veterans of all military branches, not just those in World War I. From the first national celebration in 1947 to the present day, Birmingham, Alabama has celebrated and honored the service and sacrifice of America's military men and women. Tonight, we join with so many across Alabama to celebrate servicemen and women, both past and present, who served our country. Welcome to CBS 42's presentation of Veterans Voices. I'm Andrea Lindenberg.
And I'm Lillian Lalo, and we're at the American Village inside the National Veterans Shrine and Register of Honor. It's a facility established to honor our nation's veterans from the earliest days of the Revolutionary War all the way to today.
Later, we'll show you how you can honor a veteran in your life by registering their service in the Register of Honor.
First, though, we want to share how veterans across Alabama are getting access to valuable resources to help with homelessness, mental health, employment, and suicidality.
Priority Veteran was established to help address the issue of veteran homelessness, a problem that, when solved, can be the first step in the path to a better life.
Right now, we estimate in Birmingham that there are approximately, on any given day, about 124 homeless veterans. And there's a lot of factors that play into that, but certainly the first step is asking for help and reaching out.
Priority Veteran is a program of United Way of Central Alabama. It provides services to low-income veterans who are homeless or are facing homelessness. Serving nearly the entire state, the organization focuses on housing first, an approach that helps give stability while addressing other issues that veterans may be facing.
In the old model, you might go into a shelter and stay there for a long time while you try and resolve any employment issues, mental health issues, substance abuse issues. What we've learned is that that's backwards, that the first thing you need is a stable roof over your head. And when you're not having to worry about that, it is so much easier to address the issues that may have contributed to the homeless.
Over the last 2 decades, the rate of homelessness has declined due to funding from the VA and the community. But lately, it has stalled. The biggest obstacle, affordable housing.
So we can provide support to our veterans. We can provide some financial assistance to get a homeless veteran into an apartment, but we need an affordable apartment and a landlord that's willing to be a little bit flexible. So we really want to get the word out to people who own properties, that are interested in renting properties, that landlords are really the key to this issue. If you're willing to work with us, then we'll support the veteran to help them be a stable tenant for you.
Finding a job can be extremely difficult without a permanent address. But Skronik says sometimes the issue is more than just the rent. Initial expenses can sometimes be a barrier to finding and keeping a place to live.
The stress of living without a permanent home really creates a level of trauma that all your mental energy is going to figuring out where you're going to stay.
The services provided by Priority Veteran can be life-changing, not only for the veterans, but also for the people helping them.
I am so fortunate to be able to do this for a living. It is a program where I know we're making a very concrete difference in veterans' lives. And what could be more rewarding than that?
If you or someone you know needs the services of Priority Veteran, reaching out is easy. Visit PriorityVeteran.org to start that process.
When we come back, we meet a filmmaker tasked with sharing the tough stories of even tougher men and women, all in the hope of recovering from trauma.
And then later, preserving history through restoration, how military vehicles are keeping those stories alive.
Stay with us. Welcome back to Veterans Voices. In the military, you're part of a unit, taught to work together as one to accomplish a goal. But when your service is ended and the members of that unit have gone their separate ways, the memories and trauma can stay bottled up.
When Drew Callner began working with Alabama Veteran, it was only to document various events for the organization. Then he got the chance to document a warrior retreat, and he realized the power of camaraderie and shared experiences.
In his 2.5 years of service in the Marine Corps, Drew Callner was never deployed.
So I was in 29 Palms, which was the exact desert climate of Iraq, Afghanistan, and we were just training guys all day long, 24 hours. So I felt like I was supporting the mission, but I also felt a huge disconnect. So you kind of feel a little bit less than, and that's just all in your head. No one's like walking around saying that.
When he returned to civilian life, not only was that feeling still present, but the feeling of what's next.
And that confusion, people take it different ways. I think I was a typical kind of reaction, and it led to depression and uncertainty. And so I just bounced around the jobs I had done before the Marines, bartending and wait staff and working at gyms. Very, very confused. And I kind of just fueled that confusion with drugs and alcohol, thinking that, I could kind of stuff it down.
Years of work towards recovery, then he took up filmmaking. He was hired by the nonprofit Alabama Veteran to document several events. One of those was their Warrior Retreat, an event focused on connecting veterans with each other so they can heal together.
I was a little apprehensive. How are we going to do this? One, the combat veteran is opening up for the first time, and so if a camera is present, how is this he's going to shut down. He doesn't know me. I don't have any relation with him. And so I had to adjust. But the magic of filmmaking, a good story will always rise. And these guys, their stories are unbelievable.
The most recent retreat led to a long-form documentary focused on identity.
It was very powerful. Think of it like a room full of these hardened combat veterans, asking them to do a very interpersonal art project. It takes a second and they're kind of like looking and, but the instructors kind of step away and let enough magic just kind of happen. And then they eventually go into it, and then the result is extremely powerful.
As he's worked on these projects and shared these stories of others,
in a way, it's kind of like full circle for me. I didn't get to deploy, and I feel like there's I have felt for years that there's a dark cloud over my military service because of that. Totally internal. No one's coming up to me on the street shouting that. It's a deep shame, I feel. And through the trust that I get to garnish with these guys and eventually tell their stories, I almost feel like it's my way of paying it forward, or my way of helping somebody up on the battlefield that I never got to experience. And that's why I'm so delicate about what I let the public see and the light that they're shown in, because the minute I interview with them, I'm connected to them the rest of my life.
If you would like to watch the entire documentary, scan the code on the screen or visit alabamaveteran.org.
And when we return, we're going to show you how to register a veteran in your life in the Register of Honor.
And later, how agencies, nonprofits, and individuals have come together to better serve the veterans of Alabama. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Here at the American Village, the mission is not only to share how our country was founded, but to honor those who continue the mission of the founders in protecting our charters of freedom.
Tomorrow, veterans will be honored here with ceremonies and events throughout the day. But the honor and recognition does not end there.
At each of these kiosks, you can see a mini movie salute to a veteran in your family. And with us now is Melanie Poole, who can tell us a bit more about how this works. So if you want to come up here, how do you make it work?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So at each of 8 kiosks here in the National Veterans Shrine, you can see a mini movie salute to a veteran. You can search for a veteran by last name, you can search by hometown, or if you just want to see what a salute looks like, we have pre-selected featured veterans, and you can view a presentation about that veteran.
Now, can you add a veteran?
Absolutely. The National Veteran Shrine and Register of Honor is a free service of the American Village. All you have to do is go online to www.Veterans Register of Honor, fill out a little bit of biographical information about your veteran. You can upload 5 pictures, you can upload 2 videos, and then when you come here to the Register of Honor, you can see that mini movie salute to your family member.
And what if somebody's trying to fill it out and maybe they don't know the answers to all the questions? Is that something you run into?
That's okay. There's actually very little information that's required to create a record. For instance, just first name, last name, hometown, country, birth date, birth year, branch of service. You don't have to know a lot about their service, but it's enough for us to say thank you.
Neat. Well, thank you so much, Melanie. This is very exciting, and I know that that continues to grow, and it's fun to see each year.
Thank you.
So we appreciate you telling us.
When a veteran passes away, their service is often recognized with an honor guard. We were able to attend and share one of those services at the Alabama National Cemetery here in Montevallo, led by Army Sergeant First Class Edwin Hood. Each branch has its own honor guard, and Hood says performing these ceremonies is the highest honor of his service in the U.S. Army, which included deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan.
Veterans, service members, and their family members may be eligible to be laid to rest in the National Cemetery. Visit the link for eligibility requirements. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Veterans Voices. When services are needed, it's often difficult to find the right organization to help. A few years ago, Brian Crawford saw the need and began working to connect the dots.
Since 2019, the Central Alabama Veterans Collaborative has grown to more than 250 agencies, nonprofits, and individuals geared towards connecting veterans with the services they need.
When the Alabama Department of Rehabilitation Services sought to expand their programs with the Alabama National Guard in 2019, they held a military culture meeting. From that meeting came the Central Alabama Veterans Collaborative, a group focused on making connections between veterans who need services and the people providing them.
We have helped a lot of people, some on the brink of suicide. We through our partners. We have helped people get their financial houses in order. One of our partners has a program, Interiors for Heroes, and they do interiors for previously homeless veterans who finally get an apartment, but they have nothing. They have no sofa, no chair, no toaster oven. And Letterman of the USA helps furnish those apartments. So their stories go on and on and on and on.
Veteran service organizations have worked together in the past, but there's not been a gathering under one roof of so many, now up to nearly 250 individuals, agencies, and nonprofits.
CAVC in and of itself does not have anything to offer other than collaborating and networking. So if you were a veteran with needs, it wouldn't be one. Typically, it's 4 or 5 or more. If it's employment, could be mental health. It could be family violence. It could be you're behind on bills, and on and on and on and on. And quite honestly, you may not know how to do a resume. You may not know how to conduct a serious job search, career search. So those are the resources, some of them, that we try to pull together.
Even with so many working together, a critical step is for veterans to first ask for help. That doesn't always happen.
One of the interesting aspects of veterans in need of help, military community in need of help, is the fact that they're almost drowning before they will ask for help.
Though when they do, and CAVC is able to help,
immense satisfaction. It's a passion. I have many veterans in my family since World War II especially. And the older I got after retiring from the corporate world, the more and more engaged I became in military matters. What affects our veterans? What affects our active service personnel, including reservists and guardsmen? And one thing just led to another. And but it is a passion, it is a mission, and there's a whole lot of satisfaction that comes personally to see, and rewarding to see our efforts bring the desired and needed results.
Crawford says one of the first steps any veteran can take to get access to help is to register with the Department of Veterans Affairs.
And when we return, keeping stories alive by keeping history running. How restoring military vehicles helps keep the history for which they were built alive.
We'll be right back. Welcome back. 75 years ago, Alabama veteran Raymond Weeks had the idea to make Armistice Day into a holiday, celebrating all of America's veterans. November 11th was officially changed to Veterans Day, and Birmingham held the first National Veterans Day Parade.
And if you've attended one in the past, you've certainly seen several of the Jeeps and the Humvees and all those trucks and other military vehicles throughout the parade.
The Dixie Division Military Vehicle Club is a group dedicated to restoring and maintaining those old vehicles, but the stories they hold and carry on are far more important.
We have a Jeep that's a cylinder's missing, and we're trying to diagnose why, and we think a number 3 spark plug is not firing.
This Jeep here is a 1942 Willis MB, but this is the standardized Jeep that went to World War II.
But what we're going to have to do is pull the spark plug out and see if we can't figure it out why.
We're the Dixie Division, named after the 31st Infantry that fought in the Philippines in World War II, which was made up of men from mostly Alabama, but also Mississippi, Georgia, Florida. And we try to honor them, honor their memory in World War II, and we try to restore all these vehicles, not just World War II, but even today's vehicles, in the memory of the veterans.
Cross your fingers, guys. No, that's not going to work. Oh, I got it.
Well, it did more than anybody ever thought it could do, and a lot of that had to do with the GIs that drove them. They kind of invented what it could do in the field.
Look at all that oil on there. If you can clean that oil, get something to clean that oil off with, it'll probably run.
I don't know if it's Winston Churchill, Eisenhower, or maybe both of them claimed that the Jeep and the M1 Garand, and I believe it was the landing craft, was 3 of the most critical pieces of equipment of World War II.
Hey, Chris. What? Do you have any parts cleaner?
No. Well, I like to say history repeats itself. If you don't remember where you've been, you might not understand where we're going. And the veterans, when they signed our Jeeps and stuff, a lot of times they'll say, don't let them forget our story. Not my story, but their story as a group. They look at it as a team effort. World War II was a team effort.
Clear? Clear.
Not an airplane. Run it idle.
The club hopes to keep the vehicles running long into the future and hopefully keep the stories passed down for generations. If you would like to participate, scan the code on your screen, or you can visit ddmvpa.org.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Our hope is that this program is not only informative, but helps you or a veteran in your life connect to resources or other veterans.
And to all of Alabama's veterans, we thank you for your service.